So as a performer, you're generally not supposed to say stuff before the piece. You just dive right into it. So I'm going to say this. This piece was a assignment that I was given in a class I was taking. And that assignment was to document and reflect on your history, your experience as a learner, your experience in the education system and around education in general. So this piece is called Level Up, My Autobiography as a Learner. 1. My grandmother was a teacher, and she would often grade papers while watching me. So before I was old enough for any kind of school, I wanted to read, I wanted to draw, I wanted to write stories. Not for any abstract love of knowledge or to develop a skill, but just to be close to her. This is my first memory of education, that warmth. Autumn outside the window, lots of blank paper and markers on the carpet, a smile. This is also my first memory of privilege, which is such a dirty word to so many people, but it's not really that complicated, right? It's just this, some kind of head start, reading the strategy guide before you play the game, leveling up just for completing the tutorial. 2. Shop class. In a big garage adjacent to my high school, open air if a bit dirty. We're trying to build something, but more than that, we're just trying to not chop our own fingers off. There isn't a lot of room here for visioning new possibilities. I need some metal, teacher gives me some metal. I need some wood, teacher gives me some wood. I need some blueprints, teacher gives me blueprints. I assume we'll cover the drawing of blueprints in a later class. It's just a couple of hours every week, and the weeks fly. Fingers learn to follow directions, to create from jagged raw bits of nothing, something, to go from point A on the paper to point B in your hands to point C in your report card. We're building birdhouses. Wood, little metal hinges, nothing too serious, just enough to understand the relationship between hammer and nail, between heat and metal, between destruction and creation. When I'm done, I submit my work for grading. I get an F. I look down. The assignment was to build a birdhouse. I'm standing here with a broadsword in my hand, sharp as a shark in a tailored suit, smoke gray blade, smooth wooden handle, competently crafted. I don't know what happened. 3. When you trust the process, revelations can feel like mistakes. When you buy into this system, you may thrive. You may be the one for whom this system was built, but still, your greatest victories will be framed as failures. Whatever brilliance you have access to will be dulled by the hacking and the slashing. The hacking and the slashing. School was a game for me. To be precise, a role-playing game. Right? I happen to roll a high intelligence, high charisma, high agility, the ability to navigate that world with ease. My friends and I used to race each other on test day. Every A level up, new skills, new abilities. College was never a question. It was just the next realm to conquer. I loved school because school was set up for minds like mine. It doesn't mean that I'm smart. It doesn't mean that I'm not smart. It just means that I am smart in that particular context. And when a critical analysis paper happened to rhyme, or when a speech happened to be improvised, or when a birdhouse happened to be a broadsword, the proper corrections were always made. I graduated. I spoke at graduation and encouraged everyone to think outside the box, and then I went to college. Level up. 4. There must be some kind of way out of here, said the joker to the thief. All along the ivory tower, jokers and thieves, mostly thieves. In a role-playing game, a thief knows how to set traps. A thief has access to spaces other players don't have access to. A thief is stealthy. They always know how to cover their tracks. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy college or that I don't have endless respect and gratitude for those individuals within higher education who have helped me greatly, who are engaged with the work. Hashtag not all professors. But between the crushing debt, the crushing institutional nonsense, the crushing reality of witnessing day after day the most brilliant people I know being condescended to, the best writers I know rejected for publication and grants, the hardest working people I know repeatedly stepped on by the very institution that should be their greatest ally, practitioners forced to drink at towny bars, social justice framed only as a never-ending PowerPoint presentation and not as practice, as process, professors never saying in 10 words what they can say in, a million words, the knowledge of how to fly without the knowledge that this bureaucracy is a spider's web and they are eating us. The campus bubble like a plastic bag over our heads. Between all of this, my learning forked. Right? I began to dual class. Less a pure warrior of knowledge and more a warrior slash priest or a ranger slash mage or a barbarian slash thief. Yeah, you can't help but pick up a little thievery, at least not when you look like me. But from that point on, I swallowed the knowledge that was given to me, but I also made sure to pay very careful attention to its container, to its frame, to how it was prepared, to everything going on in the room and in the community around that knowledge. They say to be educated is to be uncomfortable. Funny how so many of the most educated people in our society are also so damn comfortable. That might be the most important thing I learned in college. Level up. 5. Don't get me wrong, there were good things too. Once I learned where, how to look. As a student activist, I learned the abstract skills of navigating personalities, collaborating effectively, framing a message, but also the concrete skills of writing a press release, designing a flyer, facilitating a meeting. I learned that no matter how precise your critique, or how much knowledge you have access to, or how unimpeachably right you are, it's about the work. It's about what we build. Level up. As an apprentice educator, I learned the importance of speaking out. I also learned the importance of shutting the hell up, the importance of listening. Not just for the sake of listening, but because we all legitimately have something to contribute. The knowledge is in the room. The experience is in the room. Level up. As an artist, I learned how to make a room move. I learned how to hustle. I learned that the impulse to create something beautiful and the impulse to create something meaningful and the impulse to create something popular are not mutually exclusive. I learned that becoming a good artist is about learning. And that becoming a great artist is about unlearning. Level up. I never really had a mentor. All of this I learned in community with dozens, hundreds of people. The knowledge, not a match struck in darkness, but the act of waiting quietly, intentionally, for my eyes to adjust. 6, a side note, when I got rejected from the only MFA program I applied to, the chorus of voices supporting me echoed the same sentiment, the same phrasing even. Dodged a bullet. And when you hear this once, it kind of just sounds like someone trying to make you feel better, right? And when you hear it twice, it kind of sounds like 2 people trying to make you feel better. But when you hear it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you start to listen for gunshots. 7. I'm not a teacher, at least not in the same way my grandmother was. I'm more likely to be named teaching artist, guest presenter, artist in residence, force of disruption. I ask questions. I facilitate the creation of lists. I ask more questions. I make mistakes. I continue asking questions. I share my own knowledge too, because I do have some and we're in this together. I leave room for questions though, for more questioning. My favorite question is, what now? The system is messed up. What now? Only one learning style is being engaged. What now? I have privilege. What now? I'm angry and sad and frustrated and overwhelmed. Okay, what now? I like this question because I don't know what the answer is, but I know that there is one. This is the work. The application of everything we've learned and experienced, the transmutation of knowing into doing, back into knowing, into doing, the transmutation of birdhouses into broadswords. Spoken word poems often end with that kind of callback to the primary motif, the central organizing principle of the piece. Doing this creates the illusion of completeness, kind of the macro version of a rhyme. But education is not so tidy. It continues, it expands, it leaves us unsatisfied, uncomfortable.